So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the amazing people in the world today, especially on Facebook land, social media land. Welcome to Shining the Light on Our Community. I've got a very special guest and I'm excited. I'm honoured actually to speak to the beautiful Soulara, who is coming to chat to us all about chakras, which I'm really excited about because I want to know more too, Soulara. But Solara, you're an empath, that's it. A Reiki master, teacher, and an oracle, and founder of Soul Reiki. You support the transformation, healing, and expansion of souls by transmuting energy blocks. I love this because I really, really want to get into the energy and the block and how we have energy blocks and the effects on them. But you transmute energy blocks that make people feel like they are not enough, which we're going to go into superheroes, right? Which we're also going to go into because I love everything that you do about that. And I said, I'd love to know more. You've got a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge and so much experience. But Solara, thank you ever so much for joining us. Really, it truly is an honor to talk to you. And I'm really excited. But I'd love to know more about you from you. So,
Sophia, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I appreciate this wonderful platform and the space that you have created. It really is an honor to be with you and to sit in this space and to chat and to talk about chakras and my experience. So thank you so much for having me.
it's not a problem. Like I said, yeah, I'm excited. So tell us about, to start with, tell us about you. Tell us a little bit about your journey that you'd like to share and how you came to get into Reiki and to know all about energy and energy blocks and chakras and everything else that you do. And I really want to know about the superheroes and everything else.
Well, so wonderful to, as I said, to be here. And so let's go back to the very, very beginning, shall
Yeah.
we?
Yes, please do.
Well, so I grew up in a family of eight. I have six children, and then, of course, mom and dad. And so I was in the middle, and I always felt like I had to take care of others. You know, I had two other siblings, and then I had three others under me. So I always felt like I wanted to take care of, to nurture, and I
Yes.
especially wanted to do that for my parents. And so, being a child, I would go to my pediatrician, and I thought that was the way. I said, well, she's a doctor. I see people coming in and she's caring for them. And so I decided to be a doctor. Now, the type of doctor that I decided upon wasn't until later on in my high school years that I came up with psychiatry. And I came up with that because a lot of people would come to me and they would speak, and ask questions and, want to know my advice and things of that nature. So I said, okay, so I want to be a doctor. So psychiatry, let's do that. So I had, gone on this journey preparing for medical school and pre-med and all of that. Got into college, and that second year was the thing that kind of woke me up. Sophia, I was just looking like, wait a second, residency? Like, nobody told me about this. Like, I'm going to have to be on call. And it sounds kind of funny now when I look back at it, because I really didn't understand just that sort of commitment that would take for that. And so it was then that I realized, and I knew that I have to be in a position to take care of myself. Like, I cannot be on call and just to not be able to have that cutoff point, for
Yes.
self-care and nourishment. And so I said, no, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel free enough for me. And so it was at that moment, sophomore year in college. Imagine all these years. This is what I, said I wanted to do. And so I changed. I
Yes.
found the courage to say, no, this doesn't feel right. I don't want to do this. And so, of course, to my mother's, dismay, and a lot of other people around me was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm choosing happiness and joy. Like, this is too much. And so I just ended up graduating with a psychology and chemistry degree, moved back home to St. Louis, and I had a chance to start, doing a couple of things that were my passion projects. Like I got involved with a couple of independent films, and it was during that time that I took a job at one of the hospitals, and the nurses started talking to me and saying, "Hey, you have this degree in psychology, you were pre-med, you can actually be a nurse." And so I had never thought about that. Obviously, I was going more for, the physician roadmap. And so I found out about nursing, got involved with nursing, got that degree. And that's what kind of brought me into that wellness environment, which
Oh,
was through nursing. So it was kind of the back door, but it kind of, parlayed those steps for me. And boy, was that a journey for me. 16 and a half years as a nurse. We're getting more into
wow.
the energy component of my story.
Yeah.
I was really
Wow.
struggling with energy. Yes, it was just energy was just being depleted and pulled from me. I loved the part of helping the patients and seeing their faces when it was time for them to be discharged. And I would give the instructions, and then I would kind of course, add in a little bit, about diet and nutrition and positive thinking and mindset. I would, add that in with my discharge teaching, and it got to the point where I almost passed out at work, like the stress of having the energy being depleted and not really having the self care to the levels that I needed them to be at. I actually almost passed out one day at work and ended up spending the night in the hospital. That was a turning point for me. I was able to thankfully go home the next morning, but I was kind of sitting on pins and needles, like, what are these tests going to show? I was a cardiology nurse, so anytime you have a near syncopal or fainting episode, that's something cardiac related, right? But fortunately for me, the doctors didn't find anything. They had no idea. I went through the whole stress test, everything that I would do for my patients, I was the patient. So I went through the process, as I said. I was able to go home the next day, but I knew then that I had to do something different. I knew that the stress was mounting on me. There was a lot of pressure, dealing with just nursing in general. Of course, you hear about the staffing shortages and all of that. We won't get into that now, but everything was just kind of, taking a toll. And so I found a naturopathic doctor who took me through a course of healing, and I had certain supplements. And it was at that time that I heard the word Reiki. And I literally heard the word Reiki in my ears. I have clairaudience as one of my intuitive gifts. And I remembered when I heard the word, I said, well, wait a second. My mom mentioned Reiki to me. And I knew that she wasn't a practitioner, but I knew that it was something that she had an interest in. So I found out everything I could find about Reiki. And I really liked it because it explained about energies and what's happening, with your body and how to replete that. And at the time, I was also finding out about being an empath. And I said, oh my goodness, my whole life, I did not know I was an empath. So I know that there are a lot of people out there who are struggling energetically and from a standpoint of not knowing how to protect your energy fields, and you don't even know what it is. I'm here for you. I've been where you are. So I'm so excited to share how we can just, embrace that as your superpowers and to harness that. So back to the story, I was able to at one point find a Reiki master teacher. It was through How the Universe Works. It was a dear friend of mine who had me come to an event. I went and the Reiki master teacher was there. It was just right in direct timing. This was in 2018, 2019, kind of right at the end there. And I was able to meet with her. We knew without saying words that we would work together. I remember looking at Jessica and we were just saying, yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. You. And it was so funny because we knew we had this chemistry, and we knew, and it was time. So I went on ahead and began level 1, and then after that, level 2, and then a full year later, level 3. And I took the teacher route, which is Reiki Master Teacher, because I come from a lineage of teachers, and I wanted that option to be able to share Reiki from a teaching perspective. And so here we are today. I actually was able to leave nursing in 2020. Yes, that was during the height of COVID, but I knew that I had to step away. Like it was now or never. I had to get off this wheel that was just constantly turning and churning. And so I just told myself, you've got to do this. This is full time. This is your mission here. And here we are today. Here we are today.
Yes, yes. And here we are today, and well. And I said, may I just first of all just honor you for 2 reasons. Honor you for all the years and all the time that you did spend in caring for others and being a nurse. And I know, I mean, I've never been a nurse, but I've been in hospital many, many, many times, and I know the pressure that nurses are put under. I understand it. I've seen it from the other side. I've seen what they do. So I'd just like to honour you for doing that, and also to honour you for, for making that decision and looking after yourself and knowing that, you've given so much of you. Now's the time for you, to regenerate you and to still help others and care for others and heal others, but in a totally different way.
Yes.
Totally different way, which is, the energy healing. And if I can just say, and for everyone who's listening, if you haven't experienced Reiki, then definitely do take the opportunity, and we will put Soulara's links in the comments after we finish, because Reiki is incredible. And I broke my shoulder a month ago, no, 5 weeks ago now. And I really believe that it was through receiving Reiki from people all over the world that I wasn't in any pain, and I'm still not in any pain. I've had a total, I've had a shoulder, not a replacement, a shoulder reconstruction, and pin it all back. And people go, "What about the pain? What are you doing for the pain?" And I go, "I'm not in any." And I really believe it's because of the Reiki that I received. And you can be, anywhere in the world and still receive the benefits of it. So I just want to honor you for that too.
Thank you, Sophia.
It is, energy healing is an incredible thing. So, and let's go into even more, because a lot of people may know about energy, but they don't realize what the chakras are and how they can get blocked, and how blocked energy, whether it's in our chakras or in other parts in our body, can lead to dis-ease or accidents like this, blocked energy and what happens. So tell us about that, and what do we do about it?
Wonderful, wonderful questions, and very important ones indeed, Sophia. So we're getting into chakras now, and chakras, I'll give a background about what they are.
Yes.
And so chakras are energy centers in our bodies. And we're going to just kind of keep it basic so that when we think about it and you hear this word again, you will know that there are 7 main energy centers in your body that actually house the chakras, or this, what we call wheel-like or circular energy vortex. And so this vortex is really connected to nerve bundles and organ systems in the body. And so I'm going to go over the 7 main chakras in the body, and then we'll progress from there. So starting at the tailbone, working our way up to the top of the head, we have the root chakra, and that color is depicted as red. And so you can imagine we're dealing with the organs that are in that tailbone. So we're dealing with the sex organs, we're dealing with different things, that the hormones and things that are really situated in that root area of the body. We're moving up next to the sacral chakra that's depicted with the color orange. And it's a wonderful vibration that deals with creativity. We also have our organs that are, it's just 2 finger breadths or 2 inches below our navel. So imagine that creative space. We have the ovaries, we have the testes for men. So that's the sacral chakra. Moving up to the solar plexus chakra, right here is right underneath the breastbone, and that color is depicted as yellow. It's just like the sun. Imagine being empowered by the sun. That's where you get your empowerment from, right there with your solar plexus chakra. We move up to the heart chakra just above that. Beautiful color. It's either seen as green or pink, and I like to use the color green. And of course, the heart is one of the most conductive organs in the body. Along with the brain, the heart is just very conductive. And so that's why a lot of people use the term, I love you, or I esteem you, because it's such a powerful organ. And so we move up to the throat chakra just above the heart. That's depicted as like a sky blue, light, beautiful blue color that governs our expressions and how we set our boundaries, okay?
Yes.
Above that, we get into our third eye chakra right here, right in between the middle of the eyes. And it's just such a beautiful purple color. It's like a light, like a lavender color. That's that awareness, that's that intuition. And we really have to kind of tap into that. It's people call it the third eye, but we think about it really as our first eye because it's one eye, and it's having that awareness to see beyond what is
Mm.
current or present in your environment. And then we move up to the crown chakra, and that's a deep, dark purple right at the top of the head. And that's the gateway into the cosmos. That's when you hear people say they're getting a download, it's coming through a lot of times through that crown chakra. And as you know, the chakras here on the top of your head, it's open up into the universe. And so getting inspiration coming down, kind of merging heaven and earth, that is through the crown chakra. And so we're going to talk about how these chakras get blocked. And it really comes down to one simple thing. When we think about chakras getting blocked, this is dealing with traumatic experiences that we've had. Now, trauma really is not just all physical and violent traumas. And, we hold space for those who have endured trauma such as that. But trauma can be something such as a parent has promised you to be there at a football or basketball game when you were a child. And so that's your safety. That's the root chakra. That's your grounding. And then that parent doesn't show up. That's a traumatic experience because it hurts so deeply to the point where a child is wondering, like, when am I going to, you're off kilter because you're wondering, like, well, my parent is not here. They're not, do they love me? Am I loved? How do I represent in their life? Am I worthy? That whole
Yes.
worthiness and feeling like you are protected, like your needs are being met, right? Are you enough, right? We're getting into that foundation. So that's what I mean by trauma. It could be any experience that doesn't go well with your body. It could be something mental, like you were maybe verbally abused as a child growing up. And I reference child a lot because, of course, we come in through, as children, so we experience a lot of these things, and these blockages stem from childhood. These
Yes.
traumas stem from childhood. And so what we have to do is we have to come into awareness of what has happened. We have to reconcile what has happened, and we have to heal what has happened by tapping into those energy centers that house that trauma. And so the way that I do it as a Reiki master teacher is I've developed a method. It's called Soul Reiki Flow. And so instead of the traditional hovering over the energy centers, I lift them. I go in, I communicate telepathically because I'm communicating with the energy. Hello, you're there. And I'll say the client's name, such and so. X doesn't want you to be there. Let's lift. Let's lift. What is it? What do you need to show me? And it's a communication, and there's a lifting. And then I go all the way up, root, all the way up to the crown. And then I disperse. When I shake my hands, I'm dispersing the energy. And it's energy is flowing. Anything that is a flat line, and we think about in terms of nursing, if you do an EKG and it's a flat line, that being is no longer living. So energy has to flow, and that's why I'm moving it in this way, and that's why I'm helping to lift it. And of course, I talk to the client beforehand and ask questions and find out from them what's going on. How are things? What are the challenges that we're wanting to address? And that's the first thing, to hear from them. What is their awareness of what's going on? And a lot of times when things are happening, we don't know the root cause, but Reiki gets to the root cause because energy is intelligent. Even though we'll set the intention for, a person may say, I've had a divorce, or I've, ended a relationship. We're of course thinking about the heart chakra, but maybe that's dealing with the solar plexus chakra. Maybe a person had attracted a relationship that they have kind of outgrown, right? Maybe that's an awareness of who you are as a person and who you're becoming. So it's really that solar plexus chakra that needs to be, cleared and balanced and strengthened and encouraged. So energy is intelligent. Even though we have that focal point, the energy will go in and it will go where it needs to go, and it will heal and lift, and do the work. And it's not a one and done experience. It's something that we have to come back and see how things are going. There's going to be certain information that comes through a soul Reiki session to help you continue on your journey to what I call holistic wellness. But it's going to be something that we have to continue. Healing is a lifetime journey. And as I said, some of these traumas have been with us since childhood. And I
Yes.
won't even get into previous lifetime. So we'll just keep it with this one.
With this lifetime,
So,
that's
yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of work to do. And that's
there
what I
is.
believe being on the planet is about, is the healing that has to take
Yes,
place.
yes. And like you said, whether it's one lifetime or others, but even just in this lifetime. And, it can be the littlest thing. As a child, we make things a lot bigger. And because we aren't aware. So the littlest thing that could be said or done in the right intention, but comes out differently, and that becomes a traumatic experience, which then goes in and affects us. So thank you for sharing that. Just like to let you know that we do have people watching, including the wonderful Tanga who's watching us.
Oh,
She's
wonderful.
saying that this
Thank
is amazing and that you have beautiful
you.
energy,
Oh,
and that she would like to know if you work with people online, which is so true because
yes,
you
I
do stuff.
do.
Yes, and we
I
will be
do.
putting all your links in the comments very soon. But while
Thank
we're here, Solara, because of this,
you.
would you like to just share with people how they can connect with you before we get the links in now? And also, do you have anything, any programs or anything that you would like to let them know about?
Yes, thank you so much again. So I can be located on Instagram and on Facebook at Soul Reiki, and I'll spell that because I have my dot positioned in a different way. So it's SOULREI dot KI.
Mhm.
So again, it's SOULREI dot KI. And so that is on Instagram as well as Facebook. And what we will do is I can reach you there. You can send me a direct message. And Sophia's going to also have a link. And the link that Sophia's going to attach is actually my link tree. And so the link tree makes it a little bit easier because all of my social media accounts
Okay.
are on the link tree. So I would tell everyone just to have a look at the link tree. And then
Yes.
you can reach me there. You can also email me, and it's officialsoulreiki@gmail.com. So the email is officialsoulreiki@gmail.com.
Gmail.com. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
that. And we will be
Thank you.
putting your links in
Thank you.
very, very
I
soon.
did want to mention, if I could,
Yes.
Sophia, I did want to mention my signature program.
Yes.
I am so excited to present this program, and I say it from a standpoint of excitement because it's a long time coming. And the name of the program is Soul Worth It. And Sophia spoke earlier about my Facebook group, Super Heroes, and it's all about being enough. And enough is exquisite, notable, it's one of a kind, unmatched, genius, and hero. And what we do in this program is talk about the different aspects of ourselves. Each one of us is unique. You have your own unique genius that no one else has. So you're the legacy. You're the hero, as I like to say. So you have to really come into awareness of that. A lot of times we have to do a little bit of work to get down to those things where, as a child, you just naturally did. And maybe your parents they saw that and they kind of put you in some activities to help explore that a little bit more. Or maybe you had an experience where the parent did not. And it's okay because I'm here now and we can kind of work together with that. We can see what are you naturally good at. And the program really builds on that awareness. And what you're able to do is discover that you can reconnect with your inner wisdom. You can rediscover that unique genius. And it really helps you to spark creative abilities and talents that you didn't know were there so that you can unleash your highest potential. It's a 9-week program. And I'm also offering within that program to be certified as a Reiki practitioner within that program. So it's a lot that I'm offering, and I'm excited to do so.
I'm muted. I love that, Solara, and thank you so much for sharing it because and I love enough. I love your acronym for enough: exquisite, notable, one of a kind, genius, and hero. Uh, and to allow giving the opportunity for people to experience that within us. As I mentioned, we just before we started, we were reading the Tao Te Ching, which is this verse was all about really tapping into the greatness within us. So if there's any way we can help you and support you with your soul, worthy program, definitely please let us know. We will get the links out for that very, very, very soon. And Soulara, I'd love to talk to you more. So please do come back. Please do.
I would love to come back. Thank you.
Just want to ask you a couple of quick things, if that's okay, because, you mentioned our main chakras, the 7 main chakras. And I know, a lot of people in the world may have heard about the chakras and those 7 chakras. People have a cough and you'll say, oh, your third eye is blocked or whatever it is. But we've got so many other chakras as well, and they can all get blocked as well, all the other ones and things like that. Yeah. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about all the other chakras that we've got all over our system?
Absolutely. The beautiful thing is that upon doing my own research about chakras, I was just so excited about knowing that you get to a certain point of knowledge and then you realize there's more to uncover, and then you get to another point and then there's more to uncover. So I just want to share some of the things that I found regarding chakras. And really it's going to take a lifetime and many lifetimes really to come into the fullest understanding, about chakras and energy centers. Some of the things that I want to talk about really kind of push the envelope of what we know currently. So I mentioned that there are 7 main energy centers in the body, which we call the chakras. However, there's been research that's discovered more than 114 chakras in the entire body. So we're going from 7 main ones to 114 that are actually have been reported. Yes. And when I heard that number, I was just like, oh my goodness, this is just getting even more expansive in how easy it is to get a chakra blocked, right?
Yes.
And so what I did find out also that these 114 chakras listen to this number, are connected to 72 nadis, N-A-D-I, and those are energy channels. So we have the chakras, and then there's reported 114, but then they're also connected to energy channels called nadis, and it's 72,000 of those. And what I found is that when you have the chakra and the nadi point come together, it actually makes a triangle. And even though we talk about the chakras being a spinning wheel, which is the originating Sanskrit word, the aspect of the wheel comes into play because you're dealing with mind, body, and spirit. So there's a circular representation. But when those energy channels and the chakras come together, it forms a triangle, but it's actually just symbolic of mind, body, and spirit wellness. And so that's where the spinning wheel comes from as far as the definition of chakras. Some of you all might be interested to know that chakras are very, very ancient in how they are described. They are from an ancient text called the Vedas. Vedas said that, when you think about chakras and where they originated from, they say in India, and from 1500 to 500 BC. So a very, very long time ago in India. And another thing that I work on, which makes Soul Reiki a little bit different, is that I work on chakras inside of and outside of the body. So we talk about the 7 main ones in the body, but then I work with the 8th chakra, just above the 7th, the 9th chakra, just above 8, and then the 10th chakra at the bottom. And when I tell you about what those 3 chakras really house and what they did with, I think you're going to really, really be just amazed. So for instance, your 8th chakra, that's really dealing with the outer world, your Akashic records. And some may say, well, what is the Akasha? What does that have to do with, healing? That is everything, it's the Bible would say, the book of life. It's a record of everything that you thought, everything that you said, and everything that you've done. That's housed right in that 8th chakra. So when someone is coming to me and they want to, they're feeling like karma, if you will, they feel something as a result of a past life experience, we go into that 8th chakra. So the 9th chakra, that's dealing with your soul genetics. That's dealing with what did you come here to do? What's your mission? What's your purpose? And we talk a lot about that in Soul Worth It in my signature program. So I work on that 9th chakra. It talks about also like your destiny, as I said, what did you come to do? And if you can imagine all of the distractions that we have here once we get to this planet, we have to really remember, first of all, who we are, and then what do we come to do. And so that's housed in your ninth chakra. And on the 10th chakra, that's open into your familial patterns and your familial genetics. So if you heard the terminology, generational curse, what is that repeated activity or thought or manifestation that takes place down your lineage? That will be housed in your 10th chakra. So that's underneath your feet. And so I will be working with that if someone is saying, I want to, I want to break this generational curse, or I want to stop this from continuing to happen. I would, again, focus on the 10th chakra. And remember what I said earlier, energy is intelligent. So even though we would set that intention for the 10th chakra, there may be some things, and maybe in your root chakra or wherever it is, that needs to also be worked with, and the energy will go to those areas first. And so that is why it's never a one and done. We're going to always have to go back in and do some work, as well as work that has to be done after the session.
Yeah.
I want to give a little bit of insight into signs of the chakras being blocked.
Yes.
We talked about as many of them that we have as far as the 114. So
Yes.
these are some kinds of signs that you may be wondering, like, what's going on with me? For instance, I feel stuck. Feel insecure, unsafe. I should have confidence. I remember being a confident person, or, I'm the CEO of this company, and, why do I feel insecure? That's an example of a blocked chakra. Loss of imagination and creativity. A person who just feels stumped, like they are, maybe an author who has a block, a writing block, and is unable to, complete or even begin their book. Something's going on with the creativity and that imagination. Sexual and reproductive issues. So not only is that a physical disorder or dis-ease, that's also something that's mental that's going on. What's really happening with that? Okay. Then we get into low self-esteem or an inflated ego. So you have two polar opposites. So what's going on? What chakra, is misaligned to where someone has an overinflated ego or is exhibiting signs of low self-esteem? Inability to receive love in any form. That's a blocked chakra. Lack of self-compassion. We were talking about nursing, and Sophia, she's been in the situations where she's seen the nurses. A lot of times nurses don't practice self-compassion. They have the compassion going out, and that's what was happening to me. It was going out and going out and going out, but it wasn't coming back in. I wasn't being filled back up, and I had to step away in order to do that. Also, the inability to set boundaries and to speak clearly. And when I say speak clearly, say what you mean and mean what you say without guilt. That's an example of a blocked chakra. A lot of times, especially empaths and people who are light workers who've come to do this divine work, we don't want to hurt people's feelings, or we don't want to, we want to kind of not say things in the way they should be said, which is just very clearly, we feel guilt about that, right? So that's something that has to be really elevated and worked on. Lack of intuitive guidance, or inspiration. That's an example of a blocked chakra. And then there's the inability to see beyond the present, to be able to say, hey, I have a vision. We talked about that earlier. I have an imagination. If you're unable to go there and you just feel like you're just stuck in this hole, I'm here to help you so we can lift it. Let's get to the root cause of that. And so how do we unblock them? First, we have to become aware of these chakras, right? We have to become aware of these symptoms. And so when you're feeling like the examples that I mentioned, you have to get some help with that. A lot of times it's going to be new. It's going to be kind of foreign to what you've been accustomed to. So I'm here for you. I'm here to help you navigate that part of your journey. So you want to book a virtual appointment or in-person session with me.
Yes.
Keeping in mind, as I said, Reiki is something that is ongoing. It's energy, so it's flow. So even though we do the work at that particular set time, you're going to have action steps afterwards. You're going to have to come back so that we can touch base and make sure that you have your protective techniques down. And that's when the Soul Worth program comes into play, because then you can be a Reiki practitioner and you can be able to do that yourself. Healing is a committed journey. I committed to that. It took me to the point where, I stood up and almost passed out, but it was then, a lot of times we get there, right? We'll have an accident, or we'll have a near-death experience, where we say, wait a second, I need to work on some things. And that was me. I stood up and I said, oh no, I'm getting ready to fall. So I grabbed a hold of the desk. So as a synonym, I'm grabbing a hold of my life, and I'm showing that to you, like, we can do this together. And the last thing is you want to chronicle how you're feeling before and after each Reiki session that you have. You want to know what's happening with your body and your mind and your soul and how you are progressing so that you too can spread the word about Reiki. It's a mission of mine that Reiki be spread across the world. The awareness of it, transforming millions of lives is what I want to do.
Yeah. And I'd just like to, where you've just said that, and that's gone right into my heart, like
Oh,
transforming millions of lives. And,
mm,
it's our also mission is to touch lives everywhere through whatever way that is, and especially healing and healing with the universal. Healing with universal gifts, universal medicine, which is energy,
yes.
with Reiki energy. So
Mhm.
I know I've said it before, Soulara, but I'd just like to honor you for that.
Thank you so
It
much.
takes someone very special to be to want to help other people to heal naturally. So thank you. And thank you ever so much for coming. Thank you for telling us all about even more about the
Mhm.
chakras. And we like I talk about blocked energy, blocked chakras, which can manifest a lot of time in pain.
Yeah, yeah,
You develop pain somewhere,
right.
and it's a symptom of a blocked chakra, blocked
Exactly.
energy. But there's so much
Mhm.
more.
It is.
There is so much more that can be that it can be manifesting as. So thank you for explaining all that. And like I said, I would definitely love for you to come back. We will definitely be putting your links in the comments
Thank
for
you.
everyone who can get in contact with you.
Thank you.
And just thank you. Like truly,
Um,
truly, I
mhm,
can't quite can just do that. Thank you,
mhm.
Solara. It has been a real honor to be able to chat with you today.
Thank you so much, Sophia. And my heart is so warm right now because it makes me go harder. It just makes me want to give more when I just get
Yeah,
filled back up. And you've just filled me up. So thank you so much. You really did. I thank you for this opportunity. I do not take it for granted. I don't take it lightly. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for everyone who is listening now and who will watch the replay. I'm here for you, and I'm so honored. Thank you so much.
thank you.